Welcome back, everybody, to Real 33, a podcast dedicated to the legacy of the best BMX film ever made, a little film called Rad. You might have seen it. I'm your co-host, Rick Haney. He is Brandon Shaw. What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, Rick's good to be back, man. I'm ready for this.
It has been a spell, has it not?
Been several years. We're on a little bit of a pause, but we're back and we're about to have some great guests on. Some people I haven't even spoke to before about Rad, so that's exciting.
Oh, man, a little bit of a breather never hurt anybody. I'm excited for this episode. Tell us about who we're going to talk to tonight.
We are bringing on the Sheepdog, Kevin Hull.
The Sheepdog.
A legendary. He's got the iconic hair.
Love it.
The blonde locks. So he's one of the badass guys that stood out, which is good for him, you know.
Team one of the more distinctive BMX characters, if you will.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Well, let's bring him on. You ready for him?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Welcome the one and only Kevin Hull. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Kevin Hull. Good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good to meet you. Good to see you, Brandon, again. Been a while.
It's been a while.
It's been too long. So we'll get right into it here. Walk me through something, Kevin. It's 1985. You're well entrenched in the racing circuit. You get approached to be in a BMX film directed by the guy who made Smokey and the Bandit. Walk me through how that happened and what was your initial reaction?
So I didn't know anything about it until I was at the NBL Grands that year, came back to LA from that race, and then went to GT just to hang out at the factory and whatever. And then Rich Long called me into his office basically and said, "Hey, we got this going on." I think Eddie was already up there in Canada doing the. Before I got there, they were already filming the newspaper stuff, you know, the first part of the movie, you know, and all that delivery stuff. So anyway, so I flew back home to Texas for a week, came back out to LA. Rich wanted the GT van and trailer up there because there was going to be the parade scene. And Rich was into promoting GT. So, and it had, you know, the logo and everything. So me and Martin Aparijo drove from LA up to Calgary. When we pulled up, the track wasn't done yet. I mean, the hill was there, but it was all white. It hadn't even been painted yet with the Helltrack logo. They still had some work to do on it, you know. So as they were working on that, you know, that's when we came in, and then we started doing the qualifying scenes, which were in the same park, Bonez Park there, and all throughout, you know, because everything was just set up in stages. And so we were doing that while they were getting Helltrack finished up. So,
okay, now you were a pro or amateur at this time?
Amateur at that time, yeah.
Also your age. How old were you?
I think I was 19. Yeah, it would have been 20 December that year. Yeah, so I was 19 in 1985.
So you're 19 years old. You're going to be on a movie that you're told it's going to be in the cinemas all across the nation, right? That's
right.
Pitched it to you, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
What did it feel like, man? What was going through your head, man, at that age? And you know, you're already a BMX superstar as an amateur. You're one of the top dogs. You're on the magazines. What was it like to go, I'm about to be in a movie?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I thought much about it. I just didn't know what to expect. Obviously, I'd never done anything like that. Anything closest to that when I was younger, and I was in an M&M's commercial that was filmed in Austin back in the early 80s, or no, late 70s, earlier 80s, then, you know. But yeah, so anyway, so I get up there.
Hold on, go back and don't gloss over that. I know nothing about this, and I'm from Texas. What do you mean M&M's commercial?
It was an M&M's commercial filmed in Austin, and I went there, and we were on our bikes, playing like with the horses, you know, the croquet with the mallets and stuff.
Croquet,
croquet, yeah. So it was just, I don't know who told me to do it or however I got involved. I just remember, and I actually pulled it up not long ago. I Googled it, and I can point me out in a couple little scenes, but very quickly.
So it's not a BMX commercial like mine.
No, it's an M&M's commercial.
Okay, it's not.
But And more importantly, who paid you better, Rad or M&M's?
Right, or Rad.
Rad pays you better?
Yeah, I didn't get anything for the M&M's one.
Not even a bag of M&M's?
Yeah, maybe.
Cool.
That sounds like a child labor or something. I don't know, some kind
Right.
of felony. So let's talk about the pay then, because that's on my list here. Do you mind telling us what you got paid?
Total, I got $300.
You said total or per week?
Oh no, total. So
how long were you there?
I was there for about 3 weeks, but technically per their contract or whatever that we signed, I was there for 2 weeks. So I got $100 for each week I was there. So I got the $200, and then I got an extra 100 for doubling. I think it was Rod when Bart takes the twin out going down the hill.
Right.
That's me playing the twin. So I got $100 for that. So I doubled the twin on that scene. So kind of like Mike, where he got paid for the 2 crashes.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of it. I need a little bit of money too. So that was cool. You know,
now, I know it's about the experience, but that's a pretty low pay, wouldn't you say? Yeah. So did y'all get a per diem for food every day?
Yeah. I mean, GT, I was riding for GT. So I was full factory. I mean, they sent me up there, hotels paid for.
You were still getting paid otherwise in some way.
Yeah. I mean, I think in 85.
He was amateur. So
I was amateur. I might've been getting, oh God, if I got pictures in the magazine or anything like that, I'd get some money, contingencies. And I don't even know if that year they were paying me for wins or anything. I know in 86 they were, maybe in 85. I can't remember. It's been so long, but so it didn't bother me. I mean,
you're having a good time. Listen, it ain't about the money at that point.
Yeah, like you said, I'm 19 and we're hanging out, we're riding, we're filming, and just having a good time.
But all your expenses, just so we're clear, while you were there, everything was paid for.
Yeah, none of my time out of my pocket, unless it was.
Now, did they make you sleep in the van, or did you have a hotel room or a tent, or what'd you have?
Yeah, the International Hotel, which is still there. That's where we all stayed. When they did the 25-year reunion, we all stayed. Whoever came and wanted to, but the host hotel was the International again, so that was kind of neat when I went to that one, that reunion. So,
had the hotel changed much?
No, it's about the same. I think the bar area and stuff, I forget what the name of the bar was, but I think it changed, obviously, the interior and the aesthetics and stuff. So,
well, hold on. Who was your roommate? Did you have a roommate?
It was Martin. I don't know if me and Martin and Eddie were all in one room. I honestly, or if there was just 2 of us. But if I think right, I think it was Martin. But
okay,
again.
So you mentioned in the pre-show that you spent most of your time with Eddie and Martin and all these other riders. Yeah. What was the scuttlebutt amongst everybody while filming was going on? You all get there, nobody knows what to expect. You get into this thing, and were you all like, what are we doing here? Can you believe this? Or was it more like, wait a second, this is pure fantasy. This movie doesn't even come close to reality. What were you guys thinking?
Right. Yeah. So when we pull up to the track finally and get there, the first thing obviously we see is the starting hill. And it's like, oh my God, that thing is,
no way,
30 feet tall. You got like a 74-degree angle coming down. And it's like, I think they took the 84 Grands when they were in Tulsa, because it started at the upper deck and went down to the lower deck there at where they run the Grands now. It was a wooden hill, but it was, a 45-degree angle, not this super steep. And so that was the first thing. And
hold on, now this is really important, because let's be real, that starting hill is probably the most iconic part of the track.
Right.
And then, as we know, the scariest part, like, were you like, holy crap, I got to go down that? Or what? I mean, I've heard the story, so tell me.
Yeah. No, we get up there and nobody wanted to be the first to go down because it was steep. And
of course.
So what ended up happening was, as we were there every day filming, after we got done with the qualifying scenes, and then we transfer over to the Rad track, nobody's going down it, so they can't film the start first. So we started filming at the first turn and then went through the track, as they moved the cameras and everything. And then they did the start scene last. And it took us that long to kind of go get.
Well, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they lower it 4 or 5 feet, like take some height off it? Is that not true?
I don't remember them because it was all on scaffolds and it was plywood, and I don't remember them taking it. I don't remember them lowering it, honestly.
Do you recall when I guess one of the Rosecrans brothers is the first one to actually do it?
Yeah,
or actually Jose Yanez may have been the first one to be wrecked, possibly.
Yeah, Jose.
Probably.
Yeah, he did it. I don't know if he ever did it during practice and while we're just hanging out there. I know Richie had him, from the story I gather, is Richie had Jose wear his uniform for the filming of the scene going down the hill because Richie didn't want to do it. So, which I get, it's scary. Yeah. But
now, where are we at on the list of, let's see, so we know one of the Rosecrans brothers was first, I guess, I understand. And they maybe started off using a ladder, like they were on a ladder.
Yeah. I've got a photo album, then I've got pictures of Beetle standing on the ladder and everything. And that didn't really work out too well. And Miranda at one point grabbed just a tire that lined the track or whatever and rolled it straight off and down the hill. And he figured if it stuck all the way down and didn't catch any air, we're good. Well, he rolled it not super fast, but it caught air, and about halfway down it caught and then, went on down. And basically we finally figured out we had to carve in. We had to go along the top and then carve. You didn't want to go straight in.
Now, who figured that out? That you said is there someone in particular?
I think it was, probably somebody like Beetle or somebody like that, and then, but once you did it like twice, it was like, okay, this is fun. It was blast.
I can imagine.
Is there anyone that didn't do it? Like just night, I'm out.
Yeah, well, I don't think Richie, I don't think did it. Scott Clark, I can't remember if he did it. He was a pro at the time. Richie, I think, was a pro at the time. So I could see them not, because of the racing, they don't want to get hurt. So, but I can't recall who else might not have done it. So
I would think just because of what he did riding the skate park, I would have thought maybe Eddie Fiola could look at it and go, okay, I can just drop in because,
and he could have been one of the first. I don't, there's so many things I wish I could remember from back in those 80s, especially all the races I went to. So many that I just don't recall. It's just sad.
Time goes by quick, doesn't it?
So y'all did all the race scenes. You did the starting hill last. It's starting at lab, which there's no gate up there. It's just a drop in.
No, it just dropped in.
So let's see what else we got here that sticks out. Okay, I got a couple good ones here. So give me your number one. If you had to choose one memory, what's your best memory on set?
Oh God! Again, my memory's not great, but just hanging out. I've got some pretty good, pictures of us just hanging out on set between filming and stuff. Yeah, that I think just the hanging out and everybody, and then jumping the jumps and stuff after the wooden turn where Miranda goes over. There was a 6-pack, so there was 3 sets of doubles. Just jumping stuff that we could. Granted, the track wasn't built as an official racetrack. It was like 2 people wide at best.
Yeah. And it looked like it was pretty bumpy, and I guess the word total opposite we see today, almost like an old school with dirt, rocks, and everything else on it.
Definitely.
So it was built for film, not for continuity. So it wasn't like anybody was going to be racing on it. Actually,
no. But those doubles were pretty good. I got a pretty good. Miranda's got a good shot of where I think he's doing a helicopter that pops up every once in a while, and I've got a nice one that I've got an 8x10 of just pointing at the camera, with the hair and the big old Oakley glass. Yeah. So
now, are you talking about? You said the double. Are you talking about the anthills or the?
No.
The doubles like the S turn area?
No, not even that. After the turn where Miranda goes over the wooden turn,
right?
After that, the straightaway there was 3 sets of doubles.
Okay, I got you now.
That, we could just kind of play around on and stuff, and kind of had a good time, and and just going down the hill. And I was at one point I was going up the starting hill. I've got a good shot of me by 3/4 of the way up. Just see how high I can carve up. I could never get to the top, but I was trying.
Were there everybody knows Mike Miranda fell twice, but I mean, were there a lot of other accidents off screen?
No, no. Well, Rick Allison, he broke his ankle, so I don't know if that was during filming. I that one I don't know if he broke it during filming or just messing around.
Mm-hmm.
But like some of the scenes, on the anthills where I crash, during the first lap of the movie, that was on me. I was just trying to take a different line. That wasn't meant to happen. I went to the inside, and then my front tire just hit one anthill, and it just, if you watch it, I just go over, and they left it in.
Yeah.
From what I understand, other than Mike Miranda, all the crashes were actually just real crashes, and especially the guy that ate it in the face planted out of the kickball.
Right, and see, I did the same thing, and that guy Chris Phoenix, he was a local Orange Y guy down in California, and he was up there. So he'd been racing BMX, but he was up there more to cover it for some little magazine or something he was doing. So he just kind of got in on it with us, and what happened was you go off that spoon, and it's like a diving board. Unless you hop off of it, your back end gets kicked up. And he did it. I did it. They left his in.
Okay.
Wow.
So, that was painful to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was great. I do know that in the qualifying races, I think it was Martin that told me that he pushed the power lock guys into the water. And you're friends of Danny, right?
Yeah, Milway. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Y'all were buddies.
I lived with him for 4 years. So
who's the other power lock guy that was there?
It was Brad and Wynn Cowan. They were brothers, and Brad was the older one. He was a teenager. Wynn was the older one. Brad, I think, was the little one, and he was, I don't know, he might have been 10 or something. He was one of the ones they shoved in.
Yeah, I think Martin's telling like, it's a pretty funny story actually. So I mean, what was going through y'all's minds? All of a sudden, you're racing next to a 10-year-old. Did that not go, this is odd, this is weird? I mean,
no
one said anything about it. And
the thing about it, you're being filmed going through the first turn, and then you stop, and then they switch cameras, and you're going through the second turn, or you're going through wherever. You're never really racing a full race because they can't do that. They didn't have cameras set up around the whole track. It was just filmed in sections. So I mean, it was, and then if you really watch it, during the qualifying scenes, the motos aren't as accurate, because they were just piecing this thing together afterwards. And, I could be in the lead at one point, and then I could be in the back of the pack on the same moto.
I've got to be honest with you. One of my greatest thrills about watching Rad is watching for all the little mistakes, which I love.
Yeah,
that's
me
too. My favorite thing. And there's a lot of that going on. I mean, especially in the qualifying when like the guys pull over to the side, because I think it was crew that wrecked or something, which was Haney, and they just kind of pull over, wait for them to get back on the bike, and they just take off. But there's all sorts of stuff that are like, which makes the movie great. I mean, it's the best part about a cult classic.
Yeah.
So that trail where that crash scene was, that was nothing more than like maybe a 50-yard piece of woods that they just carved a trail through. I mean, it wasn't an actual trail, was it?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like a hiking thing or what. Somehow they found. I don't know. And again, I don't know if they made a trail up that hill for us to come over and down. I don't know how. It was just there, and we're going to film this. And okay, off we go.
I got to ask you one question. Eddie, Martin, the freestyle guys, they're on bikes. They're not made for speed. Okay, let's be real. So, and those guys they're not racers. I mean, they're freestylers. But they were hauling some ass on the little straightaway at the very end, finish line. Right. Were you guys pulling back a little bit with your speed to allow that to happen, or were y'all going full throttle and they were too?
You kind of had to. We couldn't. I mean, as racers, I guess if we wanted to go full speed, we'd probably leave some of them behind. But there were certain scenes, obviously, where crew had to be in a certain, position or whatever, but we weren't full speed, I wouldn't say, even the one where I won the one qualifying scene, and, just first place. And I just kind of tried to stay ahead of everybody just by a little bit, just, trying to get that GT logo in there.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second. I mean, you, Eddie, Martin, you guys got the GT logo all over the place.
Right.
How much love did you get from GT after that movie came out?
I mean, that they liked it, because that's why Rich sent us up there and stuff, especially after, I don't know if Eddie got hooked up with it first or how it transpired. I know the movie company had gotten a hold of some of the other companies, bike companies, that they didn't want anything to do with it. They didn't think it would be a good thing. But Rich, being Rich Long, he's looking ahead and stuff, and he knew it would be a good deal. And I mean, even there's, if you look at when they're in the pit areas, when they're filming through the pit areas, and flashing up the different, scenes. When they go to the GT scene, I'm sitting on the bike and they got these big pillars with the big sticker, like the head tube sticker on them. Those things were in the back of the truck, in the back of the van, and we brought them out and set them out, just anything GT, we even had ramps in the trailer, but those were never brought out. But we drug those all the way up there for nothing. So,
like the touring, I remember Eddie came to Texas one time. You may remember Eddie coming to Texas to do a little freestyle show. He's in Dallas County Cycle Park. Is those the same ramps, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it was just some of the quarter pipes that go up against the trailer or whatever. Yeah, they were in there just in case we had a chance to pull them out for those guys.
Okay.
Wow.
So, and I noticed let's see, Redline. Well, of course, Mongoose had the ultimate setup. Being I don't know how that went down, or they made put a lot of money into it or what, but they got all the love, and they had to agree to be the villain too, which is maybe a risky move,
Yeah, exactly. You got a drunk owner and stuff, and
that does not bode well for the public image.
And at the high school, they're sitting there drinking and spiking the punch.
File under things that would never happen in 2024.
Right.
All right, let's talk about a couple other things, Mr. Kevin Hall. So, first of all, tell me about is there any moment post Brad, whether it's been lately or 10 years ago, have you been recognized and someone just walked up to you and go, "Oh my God, you're Kevin Hall, I saw you in Rad," at some random place? Has that happened?
No.
Surely in the 80s it had to happen, 89, 80.
No, I mean, if I was at a track or something, obviously.
Nothing mainstream, though.
Nothing mainstream, no. And even nowadays, if somebody hears my name or whatever, and I mean, it's happened with my kids, it gets brought up here and there or something somehow, even my wife, and, then it gets talked about, but, and same with me, it's, if I'm at the track or something, or somebody, I've run into people just out and about, say at a bar or eating or whatever, and they find out who I am. And it's like, it's a weird thing, because
you had that look, you had the look, the blonde hair that's very noticeable. I mean, you had an image that was out there that people could recognize. I kind of thought you would have been spotted somewhere. I mean, I realized that the film was only at the theater for a week or something, but somebody saw it, that wasn't a BMXer.
Right.
I would have bet a lot of money that you would have been spotted somewhere, because I've been with Bill and like at McDonald's, and people are like, "Oh my God, you're Crew Jones."
Right.
I got to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think if I saw Bill just randomly, I don't know if I would have noticed it, but people, I've been there, I witnessed it. It was pretty cool.
Right. And other than my hair,
what's that?
Yeah, and other than my hair, I mean, because we always had a helmet on, so, and a mouth guard, so nobody really, I guess, saw my face much, I guess, during the race and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
But
you weren't
like
getting
Bill,
close to more than like Bill was. You weren't kissing her or nothing, so that you didn't get the face. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I was gonna ask this question at the end, but since we're on the subject of notoriety, in the mid '80s, it seemed like you were all over these things called paper magazines, whatever those were,
Right.
BMX Plus, BMX Action, whatever. With 80s BMX nostalgia being at an all-time high, what's it like now seeing all the stuff that was in those paper mags being all over the internet and people talking about it? And it's like, what is it? How do you feel comparing those two?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I mean, like I still go to the old school shows. We generally have
Awesome.
three or four, maybe five in the Northwest up here in like Washington, Oregon, that I try to go to if I can, if I got the time and nothing's happening on that weekend or whatever. I've gone down to see Gary Turner and Craig and stuff when Craig started making the Gary Turner bikes and all that, and they had some shows that they held and stuff. So it's and then just running into friends and stuff. Bill's come up here for 2 different shows over the years. I missed the last one because I was out of town, but the one previous, it was good to hang out with them and stuff, and just shoot the shit. Yeah. So yeah.
It's crazy how times have changed though, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And these guys that build these bikes and stuff and reproduce them and just, buy the parts and polish them. And it's like, good on you.
Do you have any of your old bikes or anything from the film?
No, never. I don't. I had so many bikes when I was riding with GT and stuff when I was living in Texas, and I had, I think 4 complete freestyle bikes. I had, some cruisers and the 20 inches and, race bikes, and they're gone. They actually, after I moved to California, my mom's still in the house that I grew up in. But when I moved out, I came back one year and went out in the garage and the bikes are gone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That happened to me too.
Like, did you sell them? Did you give them? What happened?
No, they got stolen. And my parents didn't even know.
God, don't you wish you had them now? Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They'd be worth a lot the way they were set up. Yeah.
To kind of go along with what Rick just mentioned about the internet versus like back then, you guys are mags. I got to tell you, because, the internet just covers everything, and there's so many sports out now that you're competing with. I think it was cooler with the magazines, and I think it was just so cool to go to 7-Eleven and see a magazine. And, where now the internet's just got so many options, so much out there. It's just, every little kid that's a 6 novice is on the internet, you know what I mean?
Right.
So do you feel like it was better back in the day with the magazines versus the internet, or do you feel like the internet's better than the magazines?
I mean, back in the day, it was cool because, you'd wait, the magazines came out monthly. So you'd have to wait till the next month. You anticipated it. And I've talked to other guys that, just with them growing up, and I've heard the stories, people would just wait for the new Action to come out or the new Plus or, even Super BMX and stuff and read it cover to cover, and just live it, so where now it's like, it's on, you can see it, as it's happening, so it's a different thing. So I liked it back then. But the new stuff is good too, so it just gets everything out there quicker.
Plus, the old stuff is all over the internet now, so you can see it anytime you want to.
That's true. Yeah.
Let me ask you a couple more things about Rad. Okay, so let's talk about, in the movie, I guess post the let's say from 86 on, like, what's been your coolest Rad moment? I mean, was it bike event, seeing old friends? I mean, what happened and that's Rad related since then that is your number one moment?
I mean, the 2 that stand out are going, the one was going to the 25-year reunion up in Vancouver where we filmed it, staying in the hotel, going on a few bike rides over the weekend, going to Boness Park, and you can see, and now it's just a grassy area where Helltrack was built, but and the river running through it, and just, the different locations, I guess, and stuff. And so that was cool. And then obviously, the recreation of the track and everything in Texas that you did, those are probably the 2 biggest, Rad things. And that weekend was just other than it being super hot, and I love it being hot. Man, God, that was hot.
Texas. Well, you're from Texas, you know what to expect. But you've been away for a while.
But man, woo.
Yeah, it was hot as hell. Definitely, Helltrack was the perfect name. We're going to talk more about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole other topic, which is we could probably talk for an hour just on that alone. But let's see here. Here's a good one for you. If there's one thing in the movie that you would change just watching it, not about yourself, but what would you change about the movie?
Oh my God.
If anything.
I don't know. I don't know. It's
maybe a kissing scene with Lori Loughlin with you.
Right.
Stand in for Bill.
Stand in for Bill. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd change anything really. I wouldn't know what to change and what to change it to. It's just, it was what it was. Like you said, it was out in the theaters for a week, went away, and then it just kind of somehow, gave itself life later on, and now it is what it is. It's got that cult status thing. So,
all right. Now, being a 19-year-old male, were you in a relationship when you went to Helltrack, or were you single?
No, single.
How did you play that I'm in a movie card after you got out?
Nothing.
Oh, yeah. Are you
yeah. I'm just hanging out, man.
Wow.
Like that was just 19 and stupid, I guess.
You didn't work the system, huh?
No.
Okay. All right. Foxy or Tiger?
I don't know. I mean, I am friends with Foxy right now. I mean, obviously nowadays on Facebook, but bought some of her shirts and and sweaters and stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
So, I don't think nobody really knows where. Is it Beverly Hendry? Is that her name? We've been trying to track her down for a couple of years.
Nobody. I don't know. I haven't seen or heard anything either, so I have no idea. But so it's
that's all right. We're happy with Kelly. She's our cool. Sweetheart.
Exactly. So
right. Couple more for you. Actors. Which actors did you connect with, if any, during were they separated from you, the racers? Was there a divide, or were we all intermingling?
I mean, I don't recall intermingling. The only time I did, I guess, was at the what they call the wrap party. We wrapped up the filming of it, so that for that one night we at the bar downstairs and stuff, they had a big spread of food and drinks and stuff, and I got some pretty good pictures with Bill and some of the other actors, but other than that, like at the track and stuff, or just hanging out, I don't really recall just hanging with any of them.
Was there a vibe of I guess you guys are the racers, we're the Hollywood? Was there any of that kind of vibe going? Because some of these guys were accomplished actors. I mean, they've got some resumes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got Rocky's wife and
yeah. I mean, did you get that feeling though? Or did y'all give them that feeling? Like, what was the vibe?
No, I mean, I don't recall it. I just remember just hanging out and
Anyone you want to call out for being the biggest douchebag on set?
No, not that I can remember.
Who was the diva racer? It had to be one.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. If anybody, it could have been Richie, but
Richie.
But but no, he was cool. Always cool to hang out with Richie. Even nowadays, I see him every so often at a national or something, and
he's still around the Avalanche. Yeah. And I watch his brother all the time on Facebook. I love watching Ronnie. And in fact, we're always commenting. It's really a blast watching him. You don't know what's going to come out, what he's going to say or post. So
right, yeah,
yeah. If there's one guy that was not in Rad that you felt like should have been, and only name one, who would you put in Rad that wasn't there that you wish would have been there? What racer?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, there's so
a lot of options there.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, and
I'm not going to reveal on this podcast this particular one, but I've had some insight as to why a lot of guys that weren't there, and it's really a great story that I'll be putting out pretty soon.
Oh, there's a lot of great stories like
that. We're got a little teaser there,
Yeah. And some of them were the companies. They didn't want to be involved with it. They didn't want their guys going up there. So it was. They might have wanted to, the riders, but they couldn't.
All right. Last question about Rad, and there's tons more, but I'm going to ask you this one. Besides Crew Jones, besides yourself, who should have won the Helltrack?
Oh, out of the guys that were racing there?
Or who would you have chosen to win it? Write the script. Rewrite it right now.
I don't know. Would have been cool to see Richie. Richie always looked good.
Richie?
In the red, white, and blue, the Skyway uniform. It was always classic.
Yep.
He looked really pro. I got to tell you, in fact, Mike Miranda's hard to beat the Hutch setup, but Richie's probably, I'm going to say, was my favorite, racer, the outfit, the gear, the Skyway, the whole thing. I thought it was pretty on point.
Tough wheels. I've always loved the graphites. Always loved the graphites.
Yeah. Did you ever race those?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I had the Campy series, when they first came out with the gold hubs and the Campy axles and stuff. Yeah. Cracked a few, but, I just think they look cool.
I asked Richie, I was like, hey, dude, do you ever feel like that held you back? The quickest, no. Like, he was really adamant. Like, he was happy with those wheels, has no regrets whatsoever. No. And, I just assumed you had to think spokes were better a little bit, but.
They're lighter. They're quick to turn, on spokes. But he even did it on a cruiser, 24-inch toughs, man, on nylon tough wheels. But he could push them.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel like maybe they made a big enough difference he should have switched? Or, I mean, he seems to be adamant that it didn't affect him. But
if he's happy with it, and has no problem, then, I mean, and he showed it because he could win on them,
Yeah. So, it seemed like he got third place at Helltrack too. Like, the most in the racing part, it seemed like if you were to go back and watch, like, he was probably the guy, other than Bart and Crew, he was the guy that probably would have won it, I'm guessing.
Right. I mean, he did, because during the one qualifying scene where, Richie Anderson wins, they actually announce his name. So that's kind of cool, But again, during any of the scenes, be it the track or qualifying, it's just happened to be where you were at that one point for that little section of filming, So I always tried to, just because I was thinking of, getting the name out there, because even on the starting line, there's one scene where I'm as the camera's looking at us, I'm on the far right, So I kind of picked that spot just because I knew they would start filming there and panning down across the rest of the racers, So
you're getting that screen time. You're making sure of it.
Yeah. So just help out GT,
Now you being there as an amateur, did you feel like the other guys were like, I don't know, you're Kevin Hull, you're older amateur, like you're pro, but did you feel like there was any kind of like, hey, we're the pros, we deserve to be here, you shouldn't even be here? Was there anything like that going on?
No, everybody, we all got along.
Oh, yeah, that's great. That's good to hear.
As far as I remember, I don't remember anybody bickering or anything.
Hold on, what about Jose? I feel like he'd be the one out guy. Like, he's not an actor, he's a sort of a freestyler, I guess, obviously, but I mean, it's a one-trick pony type thing. Nobody did a great thing. Listen,
he did.
He's the star of the show. I mean, ultimately, it's behind the scenes, that's the backflip.
Right.
But did Jose kind of mix with you guys pretty well, or was it?
As far as I can remember, he did. I don't remember hanging with him much, but just in a group, like I said, there's one picture I have, and I'm turning around looking at the camera, and there's probably 6 or 7 guys, and and I'm in jeans and a t-shirt at that point. So we were just hanging out at the track, at the Helltrack, in the middle of the infield kind of thing. Just, who knows what we were doing. We were just chatting.
Because he was not on Hutch. He was like on Hutch for the Grands. If the story goes correct, like if I've heard it correctly, they put him on this year to do the backflip at the Grands that year, but he wasn't really on a team. And then he ended up in the circus. With a good friend of mine, with Robert Cito, which is the second guy to ever do a backflip. You probably know Robert, right? Met Robert?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, since we're on that subject, I mean, that backflip was, nobody had ever seen that before.
No.
I mean, it was like the big thing. And looking back on that time and the things that you guys were all doing compared to what they're doing now, I mean, Jesus, that must blow your mind.
Right. Yeah. The backflip one thing. Yeah.
I mean, they're doing backflips and triple flips on dirt bikes for God's sake.
Yeah.
Jose was actually the first guy to do one on a motorcycle, and I think Travis was trying to give him credit for that. There's some documentation about that, of Jose doing it. So I mean, listen, man. For what he did the biggest trick of all time, the most memorable trick,
Yes.
And all
He
there's
put it
other
on the map.
movies. There's other BMX movies that have came out since Rad, but there's one Rad. You know what I mean?
Right.
The new ones aren't gonna. Nothing's gonna ever touch Rad. I mean, BMX Bandits came out a little bit before, but that was BMX Bandits.
Yeah,
it was also Australia.
Yeah, so it was different. So Rad, I mean, it barely beat Rad to the theater anyway, or if it even went to the theater. I don't know, but Rad is Rad, and Jose is Jose. He did the first biggest trick of all time, and nothing's ever gonna. I don't know, man. Some of the stuff that Ron Williams, God, our Willie's just incredible. I don't even know how he's up there thinking about what he's doing. I mean, I get lost watching him. Have you seen this kid?
No.
You've probably seen him on Facebook at some time on a reel because he's all over the place, and it's just insane. It's just twist and flip after twist and flip, and I've met him a few times. It's incredible, man. I don't know what's in his head to make him do that. All right, guys, let's talk about Helltrack 2018 in the heat of Texas, man. Tell me, Kevin, like, what was it like to go back and see this track that you were at 30 years before that? Like, what went through your head when you showed up and saw that thing?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could relate it to going up to Canada for the first time and seeing the track. And when I showed up in Texas for that thing and drove up, I was like, oh my God, because you can see it from the street. I got some pictures from the street way back,
It's like a mountain out there.
Yeah. And then you see the big barn thing that they had there or whatever. And then you could just see the wall, and the starting hill. I'm like, oh my God. And then you pull up and park and ride up there. And it's just like, and then you go up to the top and it's like, because I went there with full intention of going down that hill. I had my cruiser and stuff. And I got up there. I was like, yeah, no.
I don't think so.
I remember talking to you about that. And you're like, nah. But you went down the 10-footer, right? Like the smaller one. Didn't you drop on that one?
And that was good. Cool that you guys did that. You stepped it down like a half or a third.
There's 3 levels.
Yeah, you had 3 levels. And idiot me. So I'm putting around the facility there, and so I got my seat post up high, So and because when I'm racing, it's lower. It's not as low as the guys run it nowadays, but it's low, to race. But it was high to just ride around the area, and I forgot to lower the seat. So when I went over even on that low one, it bucked me. And I went straight down to the ground.
Well, you're in your cruiser, or you're in a cruiser, right? Or 20?
Yeah, I was on my 24. Yeah.
Okay. So, and also the bikes now are longer, so it's different. They're longer. That's why we were kids. We were jumping and we were tucking. Your seats almost hit your chin. Remember those days?
Right. Oh yeah.
It's different now because the bikes they're longer. So, now they're just pushing the seats down all the way down, like they don't even have a seat there.
I don't get that at all, but
yeah, I will tell you. So when I first went to Helltrack, days, leading before you guys ever got there.
Yeah.
And I'm going up like, oh man, I'm gonna get Bill. Because I got Bill into riding, and he's like, he started doing some stuff, and like, gotta get Bill to go down this thing. And as I got closer and closer, like, oh my God. And I'm like, and then I got on top, and like, holy crap, dude! It looks like it's straight down, and it's the scariest thing. I'm like, and I thought about going down it, and then I said, nope, there's no way in hell. I wouldn't even go down the little ones. And what's really awesome, and Rick, you weren't there, but I mean, you see the movie, and one of the problems I had as a racer back in the day watching the movie is I was like, why are these pros, and guys like your top amateurs having such a hard time going up the step up, whatever you want to call that. And like, I didn't realize there's like an incline. I didn't know that you're going uphill.
Yeah.
There's a little gap you got to jump over, bunny hop over. And you don't see that in the movie. So I'm like, why are they having the hardest time on this track? These are the top athletes in the sport. Yeah. And when you get there, you appreciate what you saw. And you're like, oh my God, now I get it. And it's really made it such a difference to watch the movie now, to appreciate what they're going through. Because I did have a hard time as a racer. And I think a lot of guys do, going, this is dumb. This is stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was an exaggerated version of I don't know who came up with it. And yeah, that incline then, because you were coming out of those S turns at Rad, the original, the movie set, and then you had an immediate dirt jump and then a ramp, and it had a gap to get up to that level. Yeah. They had to put a piece of wood over that So then you could just get a run up to that.
Oh, are you talking about in the original Helltrack?
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
They put a wood over there?
Yeah. And then even coming out of the S turns where they had that ramp or underneath the first lap underneath coming out of that tunnel thing, and then they had that bridge.
The bridge over.
That had a gap, and they had to, because you couldn't get any speed. You were right out of a turn and onto a ramp, and they had to cover that up, so make it like a tabletop. So
I got to tell you, there's the funny. I shouldn't say the word funny, but one of the most craziest things is I was late getting to the party. I mean, I was there before you guys there setting up. Then I had to go get the RV, and I was working. And I was working all the way to the point to where they had the viewing. Remember the VIP party on Thursday night or Friday, whatever it was. Yeah, and they had the whole rad. You had to have a VIP pass. Well, I got there to that really late at the end of it, and then the next day I was doing the same thing. I was working off site and then bringing stuff back and forth. And I finally get there and start enjoying it. And I walk up, and dude, this guy looked like a gang beat him up. I'm like, oh my God, you're talking about bad for business. This guy walks up and looks like someone just took bats, like 4 or 5 people took bats to him. He was fucked up, dude. And that's all there's to it. Like, oh, that's bad for business. Wow. He took a digger, man, really bad, and went to the hospital. In fact, I think I saw him, he was back from the hospital even.
Yeah, he came back. I think in the pictures I sent you, I have a picture of him with his arm in a sling.
Oh my God.
So back.
Dude, it was crazy.
Who did you guys consult to get all everything proportionate to the movie, and like
finger. Kevin was you're a big part of that, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good photo album, full of the pictures. When I went to do the movie, I just took a lot of pictures. I think I might have got some from Martin and stuff, but especially the angle. I've got like 3 shots from the edge of the starting hill, and one of them somebody standing next to it, and it's steep.
Wow,
you just don't realize it.
So you guys rebuilt Helltrack from a photo album?
Just different photos,
memory and photo album.
Awesome.
Awesome. Tell me, I get caught all the time going, oh, it's like 95% accurate. I don't know where I'm at on that, but how accurate was that track? I mean, it was pretty damn close.
Yeah, it was.
What would you gauge it? Like 90%, 80%? Like, give me an
idea. I'd say 90. I mean, the hill alone, and then the incline up was good. Only thing really different was probably the cereal bowl and the spoon.
Yeah, the spoon. But they had the thing to jump off of it, but not the actual spoon that bobbled like a diving board.
Yeah, it wasn't a 2x12.
Yeah. But They did lower the anthills down a little bit. They were a little bit too rooted. Yeah. I think they tamed them down, but still in the racing event, which, man, I don't even know if you know this. Okay, you originally were signed up to race, but then you didn't race because you couldn't get down the hill. No. I remember your name, but they fought me on that. They did not. They were against the race till the very end, and that's why when we did the race, I grabbed an 18x24 corrugated cardboard thing and just started writing names down. I said, "We're doing the race, man. It's gonna happen." And they were fighting us on that, but we did the race, and a lot of people that signed up didn't know. I'm not trying to call you out, but a lot of people didn't do the race because they're like, that start was too crazy. And it was a great race. I mean, the coolest part. Did you see the backflip in person, or did you see it on video when Dylan Stark did the backflip?
No, I was there. I think.
Oh my God!
I was at the top of the starting hill during most of the racing stuff, and I got a lot. The only thing I haven't sent you is any of the videos. I just figured I'd get you the pictures.
Yeah,
I'll send you the videos, but there's some pretty good videos in there of the race and stuff. And I think
Rick, you weren't there, but let me just tell you.
I wish I had been. You guys are driving me crazy right now.
Well, you're about to get really jealous because first of all, let's just give props to Caroline Buchanan and Barry Nobles. Yeah. They had Fast House sponsor, and they did like a recreation of the whole rad thing, like where Carolyn stopped and like told Barry to come on or something like that.
Yeah,
and they had the uniforms pretty good. They had some bikes that were like chromed out and stuff, if I recall.
Right,
and it was awesome. Their little video they did was really cool. Yeah. But so that was a big highlight. Her involvement, Barry's involvement, but Barry went down on those anthills in the race. I thought Barry was going to win the cup. I went and got a cup, an actual cup to give out.
Yeah.
So in the history of Helltrack, there's only been one person that won Helltrack, and that's Dylan Stark.
Yeah.
Never saw his adventure trip to Helltrack. He documented the whole thing, like their travel there. Once they got there, it was really cool. Now here's the part, Rick, that you're going to be jealous you missed out. Dylan, unbeknownst to any of us, planned out to do a backflip, and he did it right where not Bill, but where Jose did it in the movie.
Wow!
Right.
And the other guys that were part of this, if I'm not mistaken, had no idea he was going to do it. And it was the 2 mongoose riders. Right. Zach Lewis, I believe, and I forget the other one. But he split them. Did you see the video where he splits them in half? Like he goes right through them?
I probably have. It's been a while if I did.
I don't think we could recreate that if we tried. He did a backflip. No one knew he was going to do it. So he cut the track, didn't do the S turn. And one mongoose rider went past him. And the other one, he went right through him, like right down the middle and no one flinched. They just kept riding. And then that son of a bitch, he transferred from the step up ramp to the starting hill.
Right.
You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah.
Oh my God, the place went nuts. Right. Dude, they're like, holy shit. And of course, there was controversy about him winning it because of all these things. But Crew Jones cheated also and cut the track.
Whatever.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was up there announcing as best as I could, and it was so disorganized. But Bill started the race before I was ready. I was still going over the rules, and Bill dropped his hand, so the race started when it shouldn't have. But that's fine. Yeah. And I could only walk a few feet before the mic wouldn't work. So if I moved too far, I couldn't even see how, and I didn't know who anybody was, except a couple of them. And so trying to announce that was really hard to do. But I'm just very glad at the end of the race, I turned it over to, because there was some controversy about if the Lacombe, I can't remember his name, but he's a racer. Yeah. And Lacombe thought he should have won it. And we gave it to Dylan Stark. And it came down to I think Joe was the guy. Remember Joe Prezel? I'm saying the name wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the guy you talked to on consulting about the build.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I turned it over to Textplex. Said, what are we going to do here, guys? And I got a bunch of people involved because I didn't want to be the guy. And but we gave it to Dylan Stark. Said, that's the way it goes, man. That's Helltrack. That's what Crew Jones did, and that's the way it's going to go down. So Dylan Stark deserved the win, man. He was showstopper. Amazing. That was the highlight of the weekend for me. Yeah. By far.
The racing, it was fun to watch.
It was exciting.
It was fun to watch.
And if you notice, all the guys, let's talk about who was there. First of all, we had yourself, of course. We had Eddie Fiola, Martin Aprijo, Jose Yanez, if I'm saying it right, Jose. Oh my God, Bill Allen, and then who shows up, Rick? None other than Bart Connor himself with his son.
Oh my God!
We did not know he was coming to the very last minute. We thought he might come. It was talked about, but when he showed up, that was like a nice highlight that I wasn't expecting. Who else was there that was from the movie? There was a few more, I believe. Is there anyone I'm forgetting?
I don't know if.
A couple icons showed up, like Woody Itson showed up. Todd Slavic.
Yeah, everybody lives in Dallas. Yeah,
there's quite a few other people that showed up.
Guys like that. Yeah, but the racers from the movie, I don't know if there was any.
Devin brought his vehicles out. He had the Blazer there, and he had the Corvette. He just bought the Corvette, so the winning Corvette that was really funny how they drove around in the Corvette before they won it. Prior to the race at Helltrack, Bart and Rod and Rex were riding on it. So it
was owned by Mongoose.
It was amazing, man. I mean, honestly, how did you feel about that weekend?
That was great. It was just a fun time. I mean,
was it not? To me, it was so much better than I expected. Even though I worked my ass off and I was busy, and I didn't get to enjoy it quite like some people got to, because I was just nonstop moving. But man, that was crazy cool. It was so much better than I anticipated.
Yeah, no, you guys did a great job. You had the dinners and stuff there at that hall, and just it was awesome.
Yeah, I know. But let's listen. Props to Joe. That was a building. I wish I could pronounce his last name correctly, but I mean, dude, he did an amazing job, man. I mean, building that thing, and I felt like it was about 90% correct. And man, I mean, it was cool. It was just beyond cool.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts about Helltrack?
And just look,
2018.
when you get to looking through those photos, I think I have a picture of that board with all the names on it for the race. I'm pretty sure I do, and I've got the one that says Dylan won.
Hold on,
I got some pretty
the actual board. I've got this. I have the board. I kept it.
Oh, you have the board? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's just a bunch of scribble of names. Yeah. Jason Crouch. Thank God. You know Jason Crouch, don't you?
Yeah.
Thank God for him. He helped out a lot. I mean, a lot of people helped out, and I wish I could name them all, but I don't know who it was at the time. But I do know Jason was heavily involved in making that happen, and we're trying to get all the qualifiers. And I kept that. I also got dirt, which I just found it the other day. I went and bottled up a bunch of the dirt from like one of the jumps. My old Facebook account, which was hacked, has the video of me like digging the dirt and putting and scooping it. And I lost those, and I just found like 24 bottles, little jars of the dirt.
Right.
I've got lots of products. In fact, let me show you a couple things real fast before we get off here. This is a keepsake. You probably have one of these, Kevin. When you showed up, you got these. Can y'all see that?
You'll have it.
Oh, that's sharp.
Yep.
And here's what a lot of people don't know. See that Texplex, which is 7-Eleven looking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a letter days before the event doing a cease and desist on that logo right there.
Yeah.
From 7-Eleven. And I wish I had that letter, but we got a logo for cease and desist. Now they're based out of Texas. 7-Eleven is.
Oh, funny.
But there's something little trivia or fun fact.
Yeah,
that's the Helltrack logo. But Bill and I created a different logo because Bill actually has the rights. We have the trademark on Helltrack, and so we have a different logo. And the different logo is this. Do you have one of these, Kevin?
No.
It was a commemorative towel. It was a microfiber towel that I made.
Oh, no.
It's got the date on there, and it's got the new Helltrack logo, and it says Bill Allen's name somewhere right there.
Okay. All right.
But we had done, and then let's see what. Oh, I got a couple more things, and we'll be calling it a day. Got one of these. Had a lot of these we give out. So when you showed up for your package, you got a lot of cool stuff, a lot of swag.
Orange bag full of stuff.
Yeah. In fact, here's a couple more items.
I wish I'd known you guys back then. I came along right after.
Oh,
remember these?
Look at mine. I think it's still in the plastic bag.
Yeah, and you know what? I was over at Clyde. We gave away a rad bike. You recall that we did a bicycle themed out for rad, and we gave that away. And that was from Clyde James Cycles. I was actually with those guys yesterday. Had a big event, and at his shop over in Haltom City, Clyde. First of all, props to Clyde James because he did an incredible job making that for us. I believe he donated the bike and everything, dude. It was so awesome. Yeah. And it was really cool looking. Did you see it, Kevin, the theme bike?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So before GT did their version, I did a version with Clyde and we kind of came up with it. And it was really cool. I think the guy that won, I think his name was Whiffy. I'm not Joe Whiffy, I believe. But was that?
Yeah, right. He's from England. Yeah.
Hold on, I got a few more things I want to show you guys. You had your VIP pass somewhere, a little collectible from that event. It's not showing up very good, but and then here's the one thing I want to show. The last thing I want to show you that came in the goodie bag. Also, we had the stickers. Let me sit down here. It's not really coming in, is it?
Yeah, it's kind of black.
Oh, you sent me one of those.
Yeah,
There
you go. I did it. And how about the buttons?
Awesome.
There we go.
Walk
this sucker. Go balls out. Go balls out. And there's two more. And this is the last.
Did they tell you that when you went up to Vancouver, did they tell you the name of the movie was going to be Balls Out, or did they already change it?
I honestly, I don't even know if they told me a name. They just go up there. I'm like, all right, let's go. Yep. There you go.
Hey, they had this is ass sliding. I don't know if y'all seen because there's a glare, but they had an ass sliding set up into that pond.
Yeah,
I didn't do it. I mean, it was kind of gross looking, but they had that as well. I mean, there's just a lot going on there. You could also, dude, Adam out of Oklahoma, Adam Scott actually learned how to do a backflip by Jose over on the airbag. That's pretty cool. To have the original guy give you
that, yeah.
And there's a guy that passed away. His name is Jason Parrott, and he was part of the Rad Army. He literally passed away just weeks after Helltrack. Oh. And I think one of the coolest things about that event, man, if I'm really going to get kind of sentimental here for a minute, is he was a huge Rad fan. he went there. I believe he did a backflip at that event, and then he passed away just weeks afterwards.
Wow.
And I mean, it's horribly sad. But at the same time, what a way to do things. I'm saying, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's like a bucket list item.
Yeah. I mean, the timing of that was, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to say it the right way, I guess, because it's horribly sad that what happened. But I mean, it's also like a movie almost, you know what I mean? About this guy going to see his
fairy tale ending.
Yeah. I mean, to do a backflip and have Jose Yanes to be there, like the first guy to ever do it. But yeah, just a really, really cool event, man. By the way, the trophy, Dylan Stark won that. And by the way, see that banner behind me?
Yeah.
That's from Helltrack. If I can say it, it says Fort Rad Army.
Yeah.
And it's got like your signatures on there, Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's got Eddie and Martin and Bill and Jose and a lot of other people. So pretty cool. Like I kept that, but the trophy is in Huntington Beach at a bike shop. I wish I knew the name of the bike shop. Dylan Stark worked there, and I go to Huntington Beach for some business reasons, and that trophy is very proudly displayed up on the counter to this day from the winner of Helltrack.
Nice.
That's so cool.
It really was. It was really cool. And if you ever get a chance, check out Dylan Stark's video, because it's really fun to watch these young guys who are just like they are sleeping in tents. He spray painted his bicycle with spray paint before the race and everything.
Looks way cooler now.
It's really fun to watch these guys. Anyway, man, it's been really a pleasure having you on, Kevin, and taking the time out to let us relive the past with you for a minute. Some glory days.
Yeah. No, it's been. I echo his sentiments. It's been great to meet you and talk to you a little bit about the yesteryear. And is there anything that you would like to share with us? Where can our listeners find you? What are you up to these days? Anything you'd like to plug?
Anything. I'm just trying to get back to racing again. We'll see how that goes and stuff. But I live up in the Northwest. I'm in Olympia, Washington. So just got a mountain bike last year at some point, and I've only ridden it a few times. But other than that, just working and got grandkids and stuff. And
any of them racing, by the way? Any of your kids or grandkids?
No, my oldest boys, I mean, they're 33 and 30 now, but then when they were younger, in the 5 to 8 year range, Austin raced. He's the oldest with me, and then we got out of it. And then when Nathan came along, was old enough, then we all three did, and then they kind of went into the traditional sports thing and stuff. So, but yeah, that's it. So, as far as, plugging anybody, I'll always plug bmxmuseum.com. Gary runs that site. Good site to go to if you're looking for old school bikes and stuff and, things for sale. Vans has always been a good help. They've always helped me out over the years and stuff, and, supply me with stuff. There you go. And I, they send me stuff. It's been a while since they've sent me stuff, but I would always get stuff every so often to take to the bike shows and stuff. And just
now, like, at what point did they quit just sending you? Because I've heard stories that people just get random boxes from Vans.
I worked with Jerry Batters. I need to. So coming up to the summers, and this was obviously pre-COVID, I would get a hold of him and give him the list of, usually it's the 3 shows I would try to go to, and he'd send me a care package of just stickers, lanyards, hats, whatever, just to give away at the shows. And I'd split it up in 3s and take a batch to each show and stuff. And, so they and he's just this year, I think he's no longer with the company, but Vans I've always loved them. And other than that, Gary Turner, Craig Turner, he's producing the Gary Turner 26 and 29 bikes and stuff nowadays, and his Bandolero or whatever it's called. And
will you be at Dirty Fest?
No, I'm probably, I don't think I'll be going to Dirty Fest.
How about Frog? Have you done any of those events yet, like Frogtown or Dirty Fest? Either one?
I haven't done either of those, but I did go to the Texas event last year, which is...
Oh, did you? Hot as hell again, man.
That was another hot one.
They're moving that to October, by the way. We just talked about it. And actually, stay tuned. I got something coming also in Texas.
Okay. I thought they were going to have that in May, but anyways, I'll check it out.
No, they just signed a deal. It's going to be in October, but I just talked to Rusty Roberts yesterday. By the way, member of the Texas BMX Hall of Fame, Kevin Hull. And you may not remember this, but Kevin, but I really do appreciate it. And I still have to this day. When I first met you in person, you actually brought me, and I don't even know we had talked or anything, but you brought me a signed copy of Rad. It meant a lot to me. I still have it. It was really cool. I saw it at the one of the reunions, the Hall of Fame thing. You walked over, hey man, I like, oh, that was so cool, man. That was really thoughtful of you.
Right.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. That was very gentleman of you. So, and I don't know how well we even knew each other, or if we did know each other at all, other than you knew I was some guy that was into Rad,
Right. Exactly. Yeah,
that was cool. Though I'm glad that we formed a friendship.
Kevin, you certainly are a legend. We appreciate you, and we honor your legacy, and we hope to keep in touch.
No, definitely. If you guys want to chat anytime and I got time, well, I'm in.
I think we know that we'll be chatting again at some point.
I hope so.
I didn't think about that, but you and I will have 2 more meetings, hopefully, because there's some stuff going for the Hall of Fame stuff, and there's this other thing that we talked about.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. In fact, that other thing we talked about is going to have a good Rad story that I didn't know about. I love the way these Rad stories come up from people that weren't in the movie.
They're everywhere.
But listen, man, once again, Kevin Hull, man, thank you for being on.
Thanks, Kevin.
Your participation in sport, what you did for Rad, and we'll see you next time, buddy.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
Take care.
Rick, what'd you think, man? For him, he was lucky. He was so marketable because he was a sheepdog. He had the long hair, the curly long hair. So that's one way to stand out, But
he was definitely a character, one of the most memorable characters ever in BMX. That's for sure.
Yeah. He's a quick guy, man. So anyway, we got more coming. I've got more guests we've never talked to, and I got a couple that hopefully we can get on here. They're just, I don't know what stories they're going to have for us, but every time we bring another guest on, there's some hidden story, a little gem that pops up. That's always exciting.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm happy to be back in the saddle here. It's been too long. Hopefully we can connect with Bill now and again.
He couldn't. He was busy. He couldn't. He had an engagement to be at, so he couldn't be on here tonight. But
it's all good.
We'll have it in the future.
Yeah, man, this is exciting. Real 33. I'm psyched to be back. This is going to be great. Fans are going to love it.
There's also going to be so much more. Check us out. I guess for now. By the way, this is brought to you by ProPod Digital. If you have some kind of podcasting needs or you want to help have it produced. Check out propoddigital.com. We've got Lacey, she'll hook you up, myself and a few others. But this is just one of 3 BMX podcasts that we're producing. So, and they all tie in. It's really cool. So I'm excited. And we'll start cross promoting the 2. Any last words?
No, man, I'm so thankful that I got to meet Kevin Hull. This is the Sheepdog, man. I never thought I'd get a chance to meet him. This is great. I'm so happy
we got a whole list of people we got to still get to, man.
I know. And this is the kickoff. We're finally back at it. It's good to be back, and let's walk this sucker.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, man, I know this is going to come out later, but you watching Rad at the movies tomorrow, or you already did it last year?
Oh, no, I did it last year. I'm going this year.
Yeah. I'm meeting up with some guys. I normally work Thursday nights. I have a bike night for Harley Davidson, but tomorrow night it looks like it's going to rain. So I'll be hitting the theater myself. Went last year. And it was really, really cool, man. And you know what? Yeah. It's getting bigger. There'll be more people. I'm going to guess there'll be more people tomorrow night watching Rad in theaters than when it came out back in 1986. So
I'm sure of it.
I am too, because I've heard about movie theaters that are sold out. A couple in Dallas last year are sold out. So it's just getting bigger, man. It's getting bigger and bigger. And also USA BMX has got involved, and they're promoting it as well. So it's who knows what the future's going to hold for Rad.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, I remember when this movie came out, I still have my VHS copy of it. And to see its resurgence, not only its resurgence, but its growth, and the fact that it's way more popular now than it was when it came out back in the 80s.
Oh yeah, by far. Way bigger.
For us to be a factor in that resurgence and in that growth, it's a pretty big milestone of my life. So I'm psyched. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Yeah, and like I said, it's the stories are going to keep coming. And just when you think you've heard it all, the other day, I told you I had a great story. And I cannot wait to bring that story to life. It's going to be hold for a little bit, okay? So
I can't wait to hear it.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and check out our next podcast. We got more Rad actors and Rad racers coming to you. And until next time, Rick.
All right, stay rad, everybody. See you next time on Real 33.